Hi. Okay, so I think we should
So we'll start
start.
now.
I think Mr. Swanshu
Yeah.
will take a bit. So first of all, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Thank you so much for registering for this webinar. Given the context of where we are in terms of Gift City and its context to the jewelry industry, we felt that this webinar will be appropriate both in terms of timing as well as relevance to this industry. So without taking much time, I hand over to Mr. Sudesh, who would be our moderator for the day. Sudesh, over to you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Quick introduction. Myself Sudesh Nambit from the India Gold Policy Center at IMA. I am currently sitting at the India International Bullion Exchange office at Gandhinagar, Gift City. Thank you, Mr. Rajkumar, for facilitating this webinar for the industry. Quite timely, given that we are in for launch maybe in next 5 days, and the exchange should be getting active for the market participants very soon. The idea of having this webinar is to help the trade, primarily jewelers and dealers from India, from the domestic region, to make them understand, to give a broader details on how the International Bullion Exchange is going to facilitate them the way in years down in terms of the procurement, how efficient, how it's going to bring in efficiency within their system, how efficiency in terms of cost, efficiency in terms of the logistics, efficiency when I'm talking about the jewelers who are managing the inventory, just-in-time inventory management. So, what's the kind of efficiency that they're going to see with this market infrastructure institution coming in? What are the various disintermediation that's going to come through? So, thank you from SQL, Mr. Rajkumar, Mr. Sharad ji, and Ms. Kamna for getting this. I understand there's quite a good interest from the trade to attend this with registration close to about 400. So, sometime in middle of this session, we would be hitting that number, I assume. So, to discuss on this subject today, we are joined by Mr. Shivanshu Mehta from MCX, who's also one of the board of directors at IIBX. Mr. Ashok Gautam, who's an MD and CEO of India International Bullion Exchange. Mr. Nagendra Kumar from National Stock Exchange, and Mr. Ranjit Singh from Bombay Stock Exchange. So these three exchanges together, they are part of the consortium of five primary investors into this exchange. To start with, let me talk to you about the flow of discussion that we're going to have today. To start with, we'll have Mr. Ashok Gautam giving a quick intro. Can I say it's about for 15 minutes intro through a presentation on how on the key factors that are going to be driving this exchange, and he'll be presenting a process flow of how the gold is going to flow through the exchange to the jewelers, and post that we get into some broader the macro aspects of the subject, and next we move to the various process within this, how it's going to benefit the jewelers, and right from the time they decide to buy gold, place order for gold through the exchange to getting it delivered to the manufacturer, what's going to be the complete process in that front. So, and towards the end, we look at how IIBX is going to be is set to play a major role in the international market. So, Mr. Ashok, over to you, Mr. Ashok. So you could start off with your presentation on the subject.
Thank you, Sudesh, for warm introduction, and very good afternoon to everyone who is on this call. I'm thankful to SQL for taking the initiative to invite a large number of jewelers and jewelry houses to this webinar. And I believe already we have already 170 participants. Amazing. Thank you everyone who has taken their Saturday afternoon to spend some time with us. I have recently joined, I think almost a month now. This was a month back when I joined India International Bullion Exchange, IFSC Limited, as MD and CEO. So we are starting on a journey which we would like to have with you all. And essentially, you would be our partners in this journey. And I'm so happy to be speaking to you right now. I've been told by Sudesh that I have been given 15 minutes. So I'll just request Sudesh to give me a cue whenever he wants me to shut up. But definitely I'll be on the call on this presentation. I'll be intervening wherever required. And or if you have any questions, answers I'd like to give to those questions. I'll just share my screen so that there is a presentation which I'll quickly run through. Though we'll not get into the nitty-gritty part because this presentation actually was designed for almost an hour and a half. But we'll quickly show some of the key points where you all understand what is this IIBX is all about. Okay, so I'll just, can somebody make me the host so that I can share in this meeting? Otherwise, I will not be able to show the presentation, or otherwise then I'll have to go verbally, I can just take you through what I'm trying to say. Okay, so as I can't share my screen, so it's okay. So there is no presentation, but we'll go one by one what I'm trying to say.
Sir, I've made you the host. You can share your screen.
Thank you. Can you see the India International Bullion Exchange IFSC Limited written on your screens? Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
We can. We can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So the tagline which we are giving for the jewelers here is the gateway for bullion imports into India. That is, but as we will go and we'll explain to you, this is only going to be one of the pieces of IIBX. We would certainly be international in our approach, in our product offerings, in our governance standards, and that is what we intend to achieve. You know, we are promoted by some of the best MIIs in the country: CDSL, India INX, MCX, NSDL, and NSE. They are our promoters. Generally, we are being governed by IFSCA. They are the authority, unified authority at IFSC, and we have been given a license by them to run a bullion exchange. Within the bullion exchange, you all would essentially be coming as trading members, because I believe this we have all the people who are from domestic India jurisdiction, which is, so you all will be coming on the exchange as either a client or a trading member or a limited purpose trading member, but essentially in the qualified jeweler category. As you know, DGFT had issued a notification whereby they had authorized qualified jewelers to be able to import gold through India International Bullion Exchange. As you all know, till now, there are only two sets of entities which are permitted to import gold. One is the nominated banks, which are nominated by Reserve Bank of India, and nominated agencies which are nominated by DGFT. So IIBX is the another gateway for one more nominated, which is essentially a qualified jeweler category. So objectives are there, which we will get into when we have the various discussion points. Become the Asia's largest trading hub for bullion, aim to focus across bullion ecosystem and state-of-the-art digital platform for global trade and robust data and risk management. So as a client or as a member, there are market participants who can come. Essentially, we'll be concentrating about the audience, which is the Indian jewelers and the people who are in the jewelry trade. So let's look at on the right hand side, which is as a client. Let's talk about that first. So qualified jeweler who is a person resident outside India having net worth not less than. So here, this is for a client. Then on the left hand side, we have the trading member requirements which are given. You need to log into our website to get full information. I'm not getting into too much of the detail here. Some of the other requirements which are given here for deposit structure as a trading member and professional clearing member, we are not touching on that because this is not required for you all. There is a membership process which is given here. This is essentially if you as a qualified jeweler would like to set up a shop in IFSC area, and then what is the process to be followed is given on this PPT page, which I hope is visible to you all. I'm not getting into details, but I also invite you to look at my website where these things are listed out. Suffice to say that if you are coming here and setting up a branch or a subsidiary, then obviously the process starts with you setting up a IFSC unit. That means you have a office or a shop or a floor. Then you go into the various other parts of taking NOC from GIFT, SEZ, and all such things. And ultimately,
Ashok ji, sorry to interrupt. If you could, wherever possible, you could explain Hindi as well. Please feel free to.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Because
सुदेश जी, तो आप लोगों को अगर एज ए क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर भी आना है हमारे पास, तो I'll not get into these full details because ये सब थोड़ा सा इंग्लिश में बनाया गया है, पर अगली बार से हम लोग का ध्यान रखेंगे कि पीपीटी हिंदी में भी बनाएं और बाकी अन्य रीजनल लैंग्वेजेस में भी हम इसको बना पाएं. तो क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर के लिए आपको 3 तरह से आप हमारे मेंबर बन सकते हैं. आप एक क्लाइंट बन के आ सकते हैं, आप एक ट्रेडिंग मेंबर बन के आ सकते हैं, और एक आप लिमिटेड पर्पस ट्रेडिंग मेंबर बन के आ सकते हैं. अगर आप एक क्लाइंट बन के आने चाह रहे हैं तो उसके लिए एक आपको पहले एक एप्लीकेशन देना पड़ेगा जिसमें हमारी वेबसाइट पे डिटेल्स दी हुई हैं. ऑलरेडी अगर आप हमारी वेबसाइट को देखेंगे और आईएफएससी की वेबसाइट को देखेंगे तो उस पे ऑलरेडी 22 क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर्स के नाम लिस्टेड हैं जिनको आईएफएससीए ने, जो कि अथॉरिटी उनको डीजीएफटी से मिली है, उसके तहत इनको एक क्वालिफिकेशन दिया है जिसकी वजह से वो क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर कहलाए हैं, बिकॉज दे आर मीटिंग मिनिमम रिक्वायरमेंट्स फॉर बिकमिंग अ क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर. क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर बनने के लिए वो जो भी क्राइटेरिया है उसको फुलफिल कर रहे हैं. एज ए क्लाइंट अगर आप हमारे पास आ रहे हैं तो आपको हमारे जो वेरियस ट्रेडिंग मेंबर्स हैं जिनके नाम हमारी वेबसाइट पे दिए हुए हैं, तो यू हैव टू कम थ्रू दोज ट्रेडिंग मेंबर्स एज ए क्लाइंट. लेकिन आपके पास 2 और ऑप्शन है. आप ट्रेडिंग मेंबर बन सकते हैं, जिसके लिए यहाँ पे जो वेबसाइट पे इस समय आप जो मेरे प्रेजेंटेशन में इस समय जो आप स्लाइड देख रहे हैं उस पे वी हैव शोन यू द प्रोसेस टू कम एज अ ट्रेडिंग मेंबर, बिकॉज ट्रेडिंग मेंबर बनने के लिए आपको यहाँ पे ऑफिस लेना पड़ेगा. वो हमने यहाँ पे आपको दिखाया है. तीसरा चीज जो है वो है लिमिटेड पर्पस ट्रेडिंग मेंबरशिप. लिमिटेड पर्पस ट्रेडिंग मेंबरशिप में आपको यहाँ पे आके ऑफिस रेडी की जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन आप सिर्फ अपने लिए ट्रेड कर पाएंगे अगर आप एज ए लिमिटेड पर्पस ट्रेडिंग मेंबर आ रहे हैं. तो another thing is that for that you will have to choose a identified clearing member, because हमारे पास clearing member की भी list है जो हमारी website पे है. You have to get in touch with them. Once you become a qualified jeweler and you opt to come as a limited purpose trading member, और उसके बाद आपको उसमें एक प्रोसेस आपको फुलफिल करना पड़ेगा जो हमारी वेबसाइट पे दिया है, और आप अपनी एप्लीकेशंस देंगे, एंड देन हम IFSC से अप्रूवल लेके आपको बता देंगे कि अब आप एक लिमिटेड पर्पस ट्रेडिंग मेंबर बन गए हैं. एज ए लिमिटेड पर्पस ट्रेडिंग मेंबर आप किसी और क्लाइंट को ऑनबोर्ड नहीं कर सकते हैं, लेकिन एज ए ट्रेडिंग मेंबर आप अपने लिए भी ट्रेड कर सकते हैं और आप बाकी क्लाइंट्स को भी ऑनबोर्ड कर सकते हैं. So you can onboard other clients also when you come as a trading member, but as a limited purpose trading member, you cannot onboard other clients. You will have to trade only on your account. Now let us come to this piece where we are talking about, what we are going to offer to the qualified jewelers. This is just the beginning, ये जैसा बोलते हैं ना, पिक्चर का ये ओपनिंग ट्रेलर है. पिक्चर बहुत बड़ी है, वो धीरे धीरे आपको बताया जाएगा. जैसे जैसे सीजन आता जाएगा, नया पिक्चर का सीन आगे बढ़ाते जाएंगे. आज की तारीख में हम लोग जो शुरू करने जा रहे हैं वो सिर्फ गोल्ड का 1 kg 995 प्योरिटी का और गोल्ड का 100 ग्राम का 999 प्योरिटी का बार्स को लेके हम लोग प्रोडक्ट लेके आएंगे, जो कि बिगनिंग में शुरू में T+0 कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का होगा. आपको थोड़ा सा मैं बता देता हूं यहाँ पे किस तरह से ट्रेडिंग होता है. जो सप्लायर्स हैं, दे कैन कम टू अस एज अ ट्रेडिंग मेंबर और एज ए क्लाइंट, एंड दे कैन ब्रिंग देयर गोल्ड टू द वॉल्ट. जैसा कि आपको पता है सीक्वल का यहाँ पे गोल्ड वॉल्ट है. वंस दैट गोल्ड वॉल्ट कम्स, देन डिपॉजिटरी में वो गोल्ड वॉल्ट का एक बुलियन डिपॉजिटरी रिसीट जनरेट होता है, जो कि जो सेलर है जो अपना गोल्ड लेके आया है उसके डिपॉजिटरी अकाउंट में जमा कर दिया जाएगा. उसके बाद अगर उसके डिपॉजिटरी अकाउंट में बैलेंस है उस BDR का, तो एक्सचेंज पे वो BDR सेल करने के लिए ऑफर करेगा. इसी तरह से आप एज ए बायर, you can, whether you are coming as a client or a trading member or a limited purpose trading member, you will have to bring in 100% margin, which will be essentially little more than 100%, which will be asking you to bring, because you will have to also take intraday volatility into account. तो आपको 100% पैसा लेके आना पड़ेगा US डॉलर में इंडिया से IIBX के अकाउंट के लिए, फॉर योर ट्रेडिंग मेंबर एंड क्लियरिंग मेंबर सेटलमेंट प्रोसेस. एक बार आपके उस अकाउंट में पैसा है, तो जब आप बिड करना चाहेंगे, तो बिड और ऑफर अगर मैच हो गया, तो उसके बाद आपको जब भी इवनिंग में वो ट्रेडिंग सेटलमेंट साइकिल रन होगी, क्लियरिंग एंड सेटलमेंट साइकिल, तो आपको BDR आपके खाते में क्रेडिट कर दी जाएगी. लेकिन आप सभी की सुविधा के लिए, फॉर द बेनिफिट ऑफ यू ऑल क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर्स, with the support of all our promoters and stakeholders, we are working on a process whereby we are striving to release BDR into your account within 30 minutes of the trade which has been done on the exchange, so that you can start the process of taking the physical delivery immediately after 30 minutes. क्या मैं कहना चाह रहा हूं कि हम लोग एक प्रोसेस में काम कर रहे हैं जिसमें हमारे जितने भी स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं और प्रमोटर्स हैं, दे ऑल आर वर्किंग विद अस, जिससे कि आपने जो भी बिड डाल के ऑफर के साथ मैच करके किसी प्राइस पे आपका ट्रेड हो गया है और आपको फिजिकल डिलीवरी इमीडिएटली चाहिए, सेम डे चाहिए, दैट इज T0 पे फिजिकल डिलीवरी चाहिए, तो हम लोग एक ऐसे प्रोसेस पे काम कर रहे हैं जिससे कि आपको 30 मिनट के अंदर डिपॉजिटरी के पास आपका BDR पहुंच जाएगा, और डिपॉजिटरी विल बी इन ए पोजीशन टू टेल वॉल्ट एंड द कस्टम्स की साहब ये अब फिजिकल डिलीवरी के लिए तैयार है. उसके बाद जो भी कस्टम्स का प्रोसेस है और वॉल्ट का प्रोसेस है, उसको लेके आप इंस्ट्रक्शन दे सकते हैं कि आपको बाहर गोल्ड कैसे लेके जाना है. तो ये जो हमने सोचा है ये आप ही के बेनिफिट के लिए और ट्रेड की रिक्वायरमेंट को सोचते हुए किया है। जैसे ही अभी इनॉग्रेशन का हम लोग सोच रहे हैं कि शायद इसी हफ्ते इनॉग्रेशन होना चाहिए, जैसे ही कोई डेट कंफर्म होगी आप लोगों को बताया जाएगा। We will be in a position to initially on day one we'll be able to launch the way it is written on our website, but very soon we'll be able to provide you this T0 physical delivery. सेकेंड फेज का जो आप प्रपोजल देख रहे हैं, जहां पे हमने बताया है कि ऑलमोस्ट 22 घंटा का ट्रेडिंग होगा, देयर विल बी अ 22 आवर ट्रेड एंड इट विल बी ए T+2 कॉन्ट्रैक्ट। इसमें एसेंशियली आपको 100% मार्जिन की जरूरत नहीं होगी ट्रेड इनिशिएट करने के लिए। जो भी उस समय ट्रेड मार्जिन स्टिपुलेट किया जाएगा 8% या 10%, अभी उस पर निर्णय नहीं हुआ है। वी हैव नॉट येट डिसाइडेड दैट व्हाट विल बी द इनिशियल मार्जिन फॉर T+2 trades, whether it is 8% or 10%. But once it is decided, we'll let you know, and there will be a 22-hour cycle for trading, which will be available to you all. And in this T+2 also, there will be an option to take physical delivery. उसके लिए भी प्रोसेस जो है वो आपको वेबसाइट पे दिखाया गया है, पर ये थोड़ा सा बाद में लॉन्च होगा। और आपने फेज 1 में सिल्वर भी देखा है, लिखा हुआ है, लेकिन सिल्वर पे अभी हम नहीं जाएंगे, अभी हम शुरू में गोल्ड पे काम करेंगे। सुधीश जी, मेरे को 30 मिनट जो 15 मिनट अलॉटेड थे वो हो गए हैं। अगर आप कहें तो बस ये छोटा सा एक यहाँ पे मैं पिक्टोरियल और बता देता हूँ, बिकॉज इससे ये क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर्स को क्लियर हो जाएगा। या to all, please look at this particular slide. यहाँ पे आप देखेंगे कि हमने जो अभी तक बताया उसको पिक्टोरियली डिपिक्ट किया गया है। तो फिजिकल गोल्ड आया है वॉल्ट मैनेजर के पास, और उसके बाद डिपॉजिटरी ने बीडीआर क्रिएट किया है। बीडीआर जब आपके खाते में अवेलेबल है और उसकी ट्रेडिंग हुई है IIBX में, और आपने वो बीडीआर खरीद ली है, बिकॉज फिजिकल गोल्ड बाय सेल नहीं होगा, बीडीआर विल बी बॉट एंड सोल्ड, बिकॉज बीडीआर इज अ नोटिफाइड सिक्योरिटी. So what we are saying that the physical gold will not be bought and sold. The trading will be in the BDR, and once we have bought the BDR, उसके बाद का प्रोसेस यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है, जहाँ पे आपको डिपॉजिटरी में आपके अकाउंट में BDR क्रेडिट हो गया, फिर आपने डिपॉजिटरी को इंस्ट्रक्शन दिया कि दैट यू वांट फिजिकल डिलीवरी, तो फिर वो वॉल्ट मैनेजर के पास जाएगा और वहां से फिजिकल गोल्ड आपको चला जाएगा। ऑब्वियसली व्हेन यू आर ब्रिंगिंग इट टू द DTA एरिया, इसमें आपको रेलेवेंट ड्यूटी जो भी कस्टम्स की है वो पे करना होगा। एंड अभी हम जैसे डिस्कशन करेंगे तो बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स आएंगे जहां पे आपको गोइंग फॉरवर्ड बताया जाएगा कि हाउ ऑल दिस विल वर्क। आज की तारीख में हम लोगों के पास एक वॉल्ट है जो कि हमारे पास गिफ्ट सिटी में है, IFSC एरिया में। गोइंग फॉरवर्ड जो हम लोग का प्लान है कि शुरू में 4, फिर गोइंग फॉरवर्ड 10, एटलीस्ट 10 सेंटर्स में हम लोग मल्टीपल वॉल्ट्स रखेंगे, जिससे कि ऑल इंडिया में हम लोग डिलीवरी कर पाए। ये एक बस स्लाइड, लास्ट स्लाइड सुधीश जी, दिस इज द लास्ट स्लाइड आई वांट टू शो। दिस इज अ बुलियन मूवमेंट, ग्लोबल सप्लाइंग बैंक और एंटिटीज, they are going to ship the bullion into free trade warehouse zone. यहाँ से हमारे पास थ्रू लॉजिस्टिक वगैरह के थ्रू, जैसे भी वेदर शिप से आ रहा है, एयर से आ रहा है, लॉरी से आ रहा है, इट विल कम टू द वेयर हाउस, IFSCA के जो ऑथराइज वेयर हाउसेज में है, और दैट मीन्स द वॉल्ट्स विच वी हैव। एक्सचेंज पे ट्रेडिंग होने के बाद, क्योंकि जो BDR सेलर के पास थी वो बायर के पास आ गई है, तो अल्टीमेटली सेलर के पास क्या जाएगा, जो बायर का डॉलर पड़ा है वो हम सेलर के पास जाएगा। तो बुलियन आपको दे दिया जाएगा बायर को, और सेलर को हम लोग शाम को डॉलर को भेज देंगे। आपके लिए क्या वैल्यू है? प्रॉक्सिमिटी टू इंडियन DTA एंड इंपॉर्टेंट बुलियन ट्रेडिंग हब्स, वेल कनेक्टेड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन नेटवर्क, availability and trade of all financial instruments linked to standard import benchmark, well functioning transaction and holding ecosystem, FX transaction alongside in IFSC exchanges and electronic trading platform available round the clock. Sudhish ji, I will stop here. बाद में as and when question and answer आएगा, I will be happy to join and answer.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Ashok. That was quite detailed, in fact, and we have had some really interesting questions coming up. We'll get to those. Definitely part of the agenda. But before getting to those questions, let's understand some of the broader benefits of this. So we've been always talking about the disintermediation that this exchange is actually going to bring in. Shivanshu, if I had to ask you to comment about what is this kind of disintermediation that's going to come for the jewelers, how the whole costing is going to manage on this front. Can you throw some light on that front?
Yes, Sudhish, as you rightly pointed out, it is understood to be a positive policy development that this sector, which has always, been, under a canalizing sort of a theme and approach. Here we find that, if for India, gold is something which is a subject of, which is within our, social fabric itself, and our jewelers who hitherto have been only importing via banks, now will get an opportunity to lock in fair and transparent prices and enjoy the liquidity as it builds up of the exchange. And whatever discounts and premia are prevailing in the spot markets at any given point in time, it's not like you have to pay a premium of $2 to $3 irrespective of everything and then import. And subsequently, the foreign exchange flow also, if you do a back of the envelope sort of a calculation, and you multiply the imports into the country of net bullion imports with this number of $3 to $4 or $2 to $3, you'll find that there'll be a huge saving there. And more importantly, people will get a complete cover. Like you asked me about the domestic side, they already have a sort of a price to lock in, which includes the duty and it reflects the domestic spot premium and discount on the sell side, which is probably the seen as a benchmark, the MCX price. On the other side, they will be able to lock in price directly, get the metal on T0 basis in a very convenient fashion, electronic and then convertible, and immediately they'll be able to lock in and hedge on the domestic exchange or exchanges. And going forward, although this is not something which is immediately available on the menu, but it is definitely in the thought process that the receipts can become sort of fungible going forward, thereby creating an integrated system altogether. So this is what the broad theme and manner is. It is a positive change, and let me also share with you that the response thus far has been absolutely in tune with that. We've received a large number of applications in this given short span of time, and we continue to receive them from the jewelers who are eligible under the QJ or the qualified jeweler category, and who are basically, there are two important criteria. One is the net worth, and then there is the linkage to 90% of So those jewelers are showing extreme amount of good interest, and I see that as a positive change. Some of them are our members or clients. That's a different thing. Existing, I mean to say, on MCX, but it's a very positive development. Yeah. Thanks, Sudhish.
Thanks, Shivanshu. So when we spoke about disintermediation, if there's a disintermediation, there should be some kind of benefit that accrues to the importer. Ashokji, Mr. Ashok actually was heading the precious metal desk at Axis Bank, so he has a very good knowledge in terms of what actually goes into the cost and for purchasing by the end jeweler and manufacturer. If you had to compare that with the existing system, Ashokji, can you please throw some light on what's the effective cost advantage that the jewelers or the qualified jewelers are going to make with the system in place? And post that, maybe Nagendra or Mr. Nagendra or Mr. Ranjit, if you could explain about how exchange brings in efficiency, with respect to the price discovery, which doesn't exist in the OTC market. Okay, first let me start with Ashok on this costing front.
Okay, so you have put me in a tight spot. Okay, so but okay, I'll try to. Yeah, I'll try to explain. I'll speak in both the languages. So let me just cover it in English first quickly. So when the gold comes initially in the country, most of the time it is coming on consignment basis. And even the gold metal loan which is given to the jewelers is given from the gold which has come in on the consignment basis. So let's understand how this consignment order is placed. Most of the time, either there is a big player who gives a one-shot big order, 100 kg or whatever, or there are small players whose various orders are aggregated and then various nominated, I'm not getting into names, but nominated banks or agencies, they place a order to the supplier. And this could be for various centers, and it could be X Chennai, X say Nagpur, X Mumbai, or X Kolkata, whatever. And this order is placed with the supplier. So when supplier at that time, what happens, depending upon how the gold is being traded in the market at that point of time, plus they add what is the shipment cost, air freight and all that, plus insurance, plus the last mile connectivity cost. Also, they also take into account, because initial consignment period is usually 30 days, which is given sort of a free consignment. But that free consignment has its own cost, depending upon what type of capital cost that bank itself has. So it is all built in dollar terms. So when you are quoted a price, it has a premium. So this premium has all these components built in. And this is one thing which is paid upfront. So many times when you are placing an order, the bank tells you to put some money there so that this order which is firm on your account can be given, whereby, or sometimes they don't pay, they just pay it from their account and then they recover from you later. That is a premium. And then second, when the gold comes in, it comes duty paid. So duty is paid and then it is kept and waiting whenever you want to take the delivery and all that. In our estimate, what we have discussed with the suppliers, because now we will have, so they will have access to the all India market at one platform. And that way they will be able to get idea of aggregate demand, and they will be able to have a better supply management. Shivanshu talked about $2 or $3. So I'm even talking about a minimum, let's talk about a minimum $1 saving. Though it is, in my view, it will be more, but I'm being a banker in my whole life, so I want to be more conservative. So even if it is $1, on a 500 tons, you safely may save for the country $16 million US. That's a rough estimate. 1/6. So अभी मैं थोड़ा सा हिंदी में बताता हूँ कि अभी आप लोगों का जो गोल्ड का ऑर्डर इकट्ठा होता है, जो कंसाइनमेंट बेसिस पे आता है, या तो आपका खुद का एक बल्क ऑर्डर है 100 किलो, विच यूजुअली ओनली बिग प्लेयर्स, बड़े ज्वेलर्स या बड़े डीलर्स ही दे पाते हैं. बाकी लोग अपना छोटा छोटा ऑर्डर देते हैं, 10 किलो, 20 किलो, 25 किलो, जो नॉमिनेटेड बैंक्स और एजेंसीज उसको कोलेक्ट करके एक सिंगल ऑर्डर प्लेस करते हैं. और सिंगल ऑर्डर भी वेरियस लोकेशन के हिसाब से दिया जाता है, या कभी कभी एक ही लोकेशन पे आता है, उसके बाद उसको शिप किया जाता है. और हर लोकेशन के हिसाब से उसका शिपिंग कॉस्ट, इंश्योरेंस कॉस्ट, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन का और खर्चा, और 30 दिन या जितने दिन का भी कंसाइनमेंट पीरियड का वो फ्री दे रहे हैं, ऑल दैट इज लोडेड. वो पूरा कॉस्ट उसमें लोड किया जाता है और आपको बोला जाता है कि साहब ये यहाँ पे इतने प्रीमियम पे आएगा, एक्स कोयम्बटूर ये प्रीमियम आएगा, एक्स चेन्नई ये प्रीमियम आएगा, एक्स बॉम्बे ये प्रीमियम आएगा, एक्स अहमदाबाद ये प्रीमियम आएगा. वो प्रीमियम जो है जिसमें वो सारी चीजें लोडेड है, और उसके बाद वो कस्टम ड्यूटी पे करके आता है, और फिर आप उसको प्राइस करते हैं जैसा भी आपका रिक्वायरमेंट है. यहाँ पे क्या एडवांटेज है, देखिए यहाँ पे हम ऑलमोस्ट जस्ट इन टाइम इन्वेंट्री आपको दे पाएंगे, बिकॉज यहाँ पे जो ट्रेडिंग हो रहा है वो 1 किलो के लॉट में ट्रेड हो रहा है. और जो 999 वाला है वो शायद 100 ग्राम के लॉट में ट्रेड हो पाएगा। और डिलीवरी करने के लिए भी इन थ्योरी हम शायद आपको 1 किलो और 100 ग्राम की भी डिलीवरी कर पाएंगे, जो एक्चुअली वो प्रैक्टिकल नहीं है, क्योंकि आप भी वो वैसा नहीं लेना चाहेंगे, क्योंकि उसकी जो लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट है वो आपको सूट नहीं करेगी। लेकिन पॉइंट इज कि आप जब जब वो प्राइस करना चाहेंगे, आप उस टाइम पे, जैसे आपका वहां पे आपको लगा कि अब मैं आज मेरी रिक्वायरमेंट है 2 किलो की, या मेरी कल रिक्वायरमेंट है 2 किलो की, या 2 किलो की परसों रिक्वायरमेंट है, तो जब जब आपको जरूरत है आप उस समय उसको प्राइस कर सकते हैं। और कभी आप बल्क में भी प्राइस करके ले जाना चाहते हैं तो आप वो कर सकते हैं। और हमारे पास डोमेस्टिक एक्सचेंजेस हैं जहां पे आप कॉन्ट्रा पोजिशन करके उसको हेज कर सकते हैं, सो दैट जब आप उसके पीसेस को बेचना शुरू करें या उसको यूज करना शुरू करें तो वहां पे वो कॉन्ट्रा पोजिशन को आप रिवर्स करते चले जाएं। और अभी स्लोली हम आगे जो काम करने जा रहे हैं, जहां पे ये जो इंटरनेशनल बुलियन एक्सचेंज है, ये जितने भी डोमेस्टिक बुलियन एक्सचेंज बनेंगे उनके साथ इसका लिंकेज बैठेगा। वो वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस है, वो जब कभी होगा आगे बताया जाएगा। लेकिन एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम हमारा ये एस्टिमेट है कि मिनिमम अगर आप 1 ट्रॉय आउंस भी $1 बचा पाए तो 500 टन पे कंट्री कम से कम $16 मिलियन बचा पाएगा, जो कि एसेंशियली आप लोग वो बचा पाएंगे। ओवर टू यू सुदेश।
Nagendra, if you have to explain about how a system where you have many suppliers coming in and quoting it on a single window, how is that going to bring in that kind of an efficiency in terms of pricing? Can you please help the audience understand the efficiency on part?
Yeah, Sudesh. Sudesh, few fundamental aspects before I respond to your query. The first thing is the trading is going to be in dollars. And in one of the questions, somebody was asking, how will the price discovery be, which is what you asked as a question. So for somebody to look at a benchmark price at this point of time, you know, how the prices should be, the closest will be your XAU price, the landing cost of gold in India. So you cannot look at the CME price as a reference price because that is more of futures in nature. And your first question on disintermediation, right? What is disintermediation? Mr. Ashokji beautifully explained, saying that how the existing model works. In the existing model, the only channel available for getting gold into the country is through the banks. The concept of disintermediation is here the bank is the intermediary. So you are not relying on an intermediary. So you yourself can directly approach the exchange. So I'll give you a simple example. When we started the currency market, FX market on the exchange platform in 2008, Mr. Ashokji also was part of that launch in 2008. So much before that, the FX market was only OTC. It was interbank market, or it was between the corporate and the bank. But once it started on the exchange platform, today as we speak, the bid-ask and the rates on the exchange platform is as tight as what banks could offer. And in some cases, it is much better. So the point that I'm trying to make here is more the players, right, the better the liquidity. Liquidity begets liquidity. So since we are going to talk about order matching system, when you have lot of suppliers, the suppliers need not be only banks here, right? We are talking to some international refineries directly to become trading members. We are talking to some offshore entities to be part of the exchange framework to bring their metal in. So when you have more suppliers, not restricting yourself to banks, and if it is anonymous order entry, anonymous मतलब आप खरीदने के समय किसी को पता नहीं कौन बेच रहे, who's selling the gold. So depending on the demand and supply, depending on that day, how the market conditions are, the price will be automatically discovered, Mr. Sudesh. Thank you.
Thank you. So I just want to add a point there. In my past experience, when I used to talk to many of these suppliers from the international market, many of them wanted to be on board here, wherein they want to supply to the domestic jewelers, but consignment is something that they were not really comfortable about. because that the costing actually doesn't fit in. But then what they say is, see, I can actually offer it at a better premium than what the jewelers in India are buying. So, and this is being made possible through IIBX. So any international refiner can be a client of the members, or if they want to set up an office and become a direct member, they can come on board and be a seller on this market, with a direct access to the end consumers. So that's what Nagendra was pointing out, and I just want to bring in my past experience on that front. Ranjit, do you have anything to add here?
Thank you, Sudesh. As my co-panelists, Mr. Ashok and Mr. Nagendra and Mr. Shivanshu already spoken a lot of details, how the pricing will be taking place, how the price discovery especially is what we are discussing, how the price discovery happens. Mr. Nagendra beautifully explained what has happened in currency market will be replicated here also. Now it is controlled market. We don't know what is the pricing which has been quoted by the supplier to the bank or banks to the end users. But when you trade on exchange platform, you know what the price you have traded. So only thing you need to keep in mind, this is my traded price, and I need to calculate what will be my cost price when I convert from, when I move to DTS system, when I move from one location to another location. That is, you will need to get down into the cost factors also. And as we all are discussing that this exchange will bring a lot of things. Right away, we'll go with T0, and other things are in pipeline. I don't want to disclose because they are in the pipeline. So we want to make this exchange as a Mr. Ashok, the first slide, if you see the gateway to the Indian gold imports. So we want to make this an exchange and reference price. If you see another example, I think a lot of people यहाँ पे जितने भी ज्वेलर्स हैं, ये बुलियन ट्रेडर्स हैं, पहले क्या होता था कि रेस्पेक्टिव जो एसोसिएशन होती थी, रेस्पेक्टिव एसोसिएशन के प्राइस खुलते थे, इसके बेस पे प्रीमियम या डिस्काउंट मार्केट डिमांड के हिसाब से गोल्ड बार बिकते थे. जब ये एक्सचेंज स्टार्ट हुआ था, आई थिंक एमसीएक्स की बार, आई टेल यू अबाउट एमसीएक्स ओनली. अभी आप जितने भी बुलियन डीलर्स को बात करोगे, वो बोलेंगे एमसीएक्स प्लस या माइनस कोड करके ही प्रीमियम कोड होता है, बिकॉज दे गॉट अ बेंचमार्क नाउ. सो व्हेन दिस एक्सचेंज विल बिकम, दे विल कोड एज अ बीडीआर प्लस और माइनस कोड करके, जिससे सप्लायर्स होंगे जो उनके एंड यूजर्स रहेंगे, जो स्मार्ट सप्लायर बोलेंगे, जो डायरेक्टली एज अ क्वालिफाइड ज्वेलर बन के नहीं आ सकते, so they can buy from the qualified jewelers who are onboarded on IIBX platform. So we want to make this as a price benchmark in Indian market. Thank you, Sudesh.
And Sudesh, just one point, Sudesh. Sudesh, one point. So in the FX market today, after 14 years of the exchanges launching, the number one broker is not a bank. Right? The number one broker is the one who's servicing a lot of retailers and corporates. So that gives you an indication as how things will progress down the line, as in when we add more players to the entire ecosystem. Thank you, Sudesh.
I completely agree with you. In 2008, while I was at the desk watching this development, there is always a debate on how the exchange forex trading is going to shift to exchange model, and there was a strong school of thought that was building that because of the liquidity itself, the exchange is going to model is going to survive and sustain. So yes, there's something similar that we are going to see with respect to gold imports, with respect to gold exchange as well. Let me. I think at this point in time, we need to give some clarity with respect to what a qualified jeweler is, because qualified jeweler, as the circular talks about the limited, the limited association with on the exchange. Ranjit, you want to explain what actually is a qualified jeweler? What is it that they are limited to? Can they be a member or as a client? What is it that entails them?
Okay, thank you, Sudesh. As DGFT came up circular in December 20 last year, apart from banks and nominated entity, qualified jewelers can onboard which are onboarded by IFSCA and IIBX can become a direct importer of gold through IIBX. See, there is a criteria. In Jan, we laid on a criteria that if you want to become a qualified jeweler, 3 parameters which you go on this. One, he has to have a net worth of 25 CR. Pehla condition no hai. Then second, he has to have a dealing either in HSN code 7108, 113, 114, 118. Third, in last 3 years, his business has to be 90% in precious metal. On these 3 parameters, he has to submit a request to the IIBX. Then we have a lot of checks and balances which we do at the back end. Based on that, we will empanel them as a qualified jeweler. See, once you become a qualified jeweler, you have a 3 way you can participate on IIBX. One is a member, one is a client, where you become a client of any registered broker of IIBX. Second, you can come as a trading member, but the condition for the trading member, either he has to set up a branch in IFSC, either he has to set up a subsidy. And third is called limited trading purpose membership, where he does not need an office in GIFT IFSC. Sitting at India, he can trade as it is called limited trading purpose membership, where he can trade only the prop trading is permitted, not the client trading. So these are 3 ways in which qualified jewelers can participate on IIBX.
Okay. Ranjit, how comfortable you are in explaining this in Hindi, or I'll ask Ashok ji to explain in Hindi?
नहीं, रंजित, वो qualified jeweler का limited purpose हिंदी में बोल दो. Qualified jeweler limited purpose membership का मतलब क्या है?
तो limited purpose trading membership का मतलब होता है कि अगर मान लो कि मैं क्वालिफाइड जेलर हूँ, मुझे ऑफिस खोलने की जरूरत नहीं होती आईएफएससी में. मैं इंडिया में जहां पे भी अभी करंटली बैठा हूँ, वहां से मैं ट्रेडिंग मेंबरशिप और जो लिमिटेड पर्पस ट्रेडिंग मेंबरशिप बन के किसी क्लियरिंग मेंबर के थ्रू लिंक करके मैं आईआईबीएक्स से गोल्ड इंपोर्ट करा सकता हूँ. मतलब बाय करके फिर उसको इंपोर्ट करने का जो प्रोसेस होगा वो मैं आगे कर सकता हूँ. इट इज एज इजी एज कि मुझे एक तो ब्रांड सेटअप का खर्चा नहीं लग रहा है, दूसरा मुझे जो भी ट्रेडिंग मेंबरशिप का जो प्रोसेस होगा कि मुझे सेटअप करना है, मुझे डीसी से अप्रूवल लेना पड़ता है, यहाँ गिफ्ट आईएफएससी में लेना पड़ता है, वो सब प्रोसेस नहीं होगा. जहां आप करंटली बैठे हो वहां बैठे हो, लिमिटेड ट्रेडिंग मेंबरशिप का प्रोसेस फॉलो करो, डॉक्यूमेंटेशन पर्पस कर दो. एक बार डॉक्यूमेंटेशन हो गया, आप आईएफएससी में आप इम्पैनल्ड हो गए एज एलटीपीएम. उसके बाद आपको गोल्ड इंपोर्ट मतलब बाय करके उसको इंपोर्ट कर सकते हैं.
And Sudesh,
to clarify further, this when they say limited purpose membership, you can't as a jeweler onboard somebody as a client.
दूसरे के लिए नहीं कर सकते. आप खुद के लिए गोल्ड खरीद के इंपोर्ट कर सकते हैं. आप किसी क्लाइंट्स के लिए, आपका दोस्त के लिए कुछ नहीं कर सकते.
No, you can't onboard a client to trade and provide a platform and then ask them to trade. That's not possible.
It's for only for
you can bring in the gold.
Property trading.
Yes.
Sorry,
so my question, next question would be, Shivanshu, any of you. So I, as a jeweler sitting in Bangalore, import gold. Can I, when you said self-purpose use only, can I sell that gold to somebody else, the physical gold which I've imported? Can I sell that to somebody else, or am I limited to use it only for self-consumption purpose?
No, you can sell it to anyone. एक बार आपने import कर लिया है कहाँ पे भी, आप तो अभी जो normal आप import करते हैं बैंक के थ्रू, आपने import किया, उसके आगे आप बुलियन डीलर को बेचते हो या किसी जेलर को बेचते हो, वो प्रोसेस सेम रहेगा, उसमें कोई चेंजेस नहीं होगा. एलटीपीएम का मतलब हो गया कि मैं बाय अपने लिए बाय करके इंपोर्ट कर सकता हूँ, उसके बाद जो आपको करना कर सकते हो, उसके ऊपर कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है.
Great, thanks for that explanation.
जैसा कि आज की डेट में सुधीश, जैसा आज की डेट में लोग इंपोर्ट करते हैं तो वो डोमेस्टिक एक्सचेंज पे भी बेच सकते हैं, बाहर भी बेच सकते हैं, उसी तरह से इस पे भी वही नियम लागू रहेंगे.
Okay. Ashok ji, if I want to, as a jeweler, they have to make the payment to the member or to the exchange, what is the process? Or we are expecting some further clarity from the RBI on that front.
So I think this is for information to all. You please, what Reserve Bank of India actually has issued a FAQ whereby they have said that qualified jewelers are eligible to import gold from IIBX. So that word is already available on RBI circulars. The only thing which I've been told by some of the qualified jewelers who have, been onboarded by us, that they have reached to their banks, but banks are saying that they are awaiting for some operating instructions, operating guidelines from the regulator. We are also in discussion with authorized dealer banks, and discussions are on at various levels so that clarificatory guidelines, if required, will be issued by the authorities.
I just saw a question popping up there asking if the duty-free gold that is being imported duty-free through the exchange, should they be exporting within 90 days? Let me clarify on that. Yes, all the other rest of the DGFT regulations continue to apply here. It's just that the IIBX is speaking one medium of importing. So as an exporter, you'll have to export within 90 days. That remains. There was another question related to whether gold is available for exporters. Yes, it is. Because again, IIBX is the medium, and it's going to be cleared through the depository. And then when it comes to the customs for bill of entry, you are mentioning whether it is for export purpose or for domestic consumption purpose, and the same process is followed. So, Ashok, do you want to clarify or explain further on that, or that's fine?
No, I think that is fine. That is how it is, because there is actually no change. IIBX is just as you mentioned, is a medium whereby you are doing the price discovery in a democratic, anonymous way, and you are authorized to import gold through that. And this is the first time the qualified jewelers have been directly authorized to import gold. Otherwise, whether you want to use it for export or whatever purpose, you continue to follow the process which you are following hitherto. अभी तक आप एक्सपोर्ट वगैरह के लिए जो भी प्रोसेस फॉलो कर रहे थे उसमें कोई चेंज नहीं है. आप सिर्फ गोल्ड नॉमिनेटेड बैंक या नॉमिनेटेड एजेंसी लेने की बजाय आपने IIBX से लिया.
Okay. So to any other panel member, next question is regarding the delivery. So you mentioned about there could be a couple of delivery centers, 5 to 10 delivery centers. As a jeweler, when I place the order, is there a surety of which delivery center is going to come through? I'm sitting in Bangalore, I'm placing the order. Do I get to see that in advance, whether there's enough stock lying in the Bangalore SEZ or the Chennai SEZ or Noida SEZ? Where are the stocks lying? How much is lying? Do I get to know about it and then place order accordingly? And is that live?
Sudesh, can I answer this question?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'll answer this question. तो देखिए, अभी की तारीख में एज ऑफ नाउ हमारे पास गिफ्ट सिटी में FIAC एरिया में एक वॉल्ट है. तो आज की तारीख में जब हम अभी शुरू करेंगे तो अभी हमारे पास डिलीवरी का जो साधन है वो इसी वॉल्ट से है. लेकिन प्लीज, एज दे से, वॉच दिस स्पेस. Keep watching this space. We will slowly be adding many centers with multiple vault providers from where you can take deliveries. So when this gets enabled, now comes the question which Sudesh ji asked. He asked whether we will know what stock is there. Yes. At the beginning of the day, the stock available at each of the centers will be available on the website, so that you can, plan your purchase and delivery schedule from respective centers. The purchase will be only on the exchange.
Ashokji, you just talked about an idea of getting the delivery process started within 30 minutes of placing the order, right? And because it's going to 100% month. So that's where my question came: is the stock going to be updated on live basis? Because on the start of the day, quantum that's lying in each vault would be different from mid of the day. So
yeah, Sudhishji, you are
is that
right.
possible?
We will be working on the live stock updates also. And just to tell all of you, हम लोग एक blockchain का solution ला रहे हैं, जहाँ पे हम लोग पूरा ये स्टॉक वगैरह ट्रैक कर पाएंगे, किस सेंटर पे कितना स्टॉक है, किस वॉल्ट में कितना स्टॉक है, जो कि बीडीआर के फॉर्म में एक्सचेंज के पास अवेलेबल है. तो विद दैट ब्लॉकचेन सॉल्यूशन ये सारी चीजें हम लोग ऑलमोस्ट लाइव स्टॉक वगैरह हमारे पास अवेलेबल रहेगा. जैसे जैसे डिलीवरी होती चली जाएगी, उसमें थोड़ा सा ये हो सकता है कि जैसे बीडीआर एक हो गया और वो डिलीवरी में 20-25 मिनट लग रहा है कि किस सेंटर से उठा रहे हैं, तो हो सकता है कुछ गैप आ जाएगा थोड़ा सा टाइम का, बट ऑलमोस्ट इट विल बी नियर टाइम. एंड एज वी गो ऑन, we will continue to improve our offerings.
Okay. So there was this question just came up. Maybe from the exchange, one of you, that's Nagendra, also can explain. The question is about how the exchanges, how does one place an order through the exchange? Because it's a completely new system. That's the reason this question is coming up. How a jeweler is going to place an order through the exchange for his requirement, and how those orders will be matched. What do you mean by matching? Nagendra, you need to get to the real basics on that front to explain with complete clarity. Nagendra, you can do that, please?
I'll definitely give it a shot.
The order.
And I'll definitely give it a shot. See, अभी देखिए exchange की तरफ से हम सब trading members को and trading members का clients को, अभी सब ज्वेलर्स मान लीजिए वो trading member बन के आ सकते हैं, client बन के भी आ सकते हैं. So हम जो system दे रहे हैं वो system मतलब एक front end देगा. वो front end में आपका कितना पैसा आप margin में deposit किया, अभी market का situation क्या है, rates क्या है, कौन सी भाव में ट्रेडिंग हो रहे हैं, वो सब आप देख सकते हैं. अभी आप क्लाइंट बन गया, अभी आपको माल खरीदना है. अभी मान लीजिए आपका अभी मार्केट रेट मान लीजिए 1920 पे चल रहा है गोल्ड. सो आपको प्लेस करना है, आपको खरीदना है, 1915 में. आपका 1 किलो 10 किलो का ऑर्डर वो सिस्टम में आप प्लेस कर सकते हैं 1915. सो अभी एक्सचेंज मैचिंग में क्या होएगा, जो सबसे ज्यादा पैसा देगा राइट टू बाय, उसका ऑर्डर ऊपर रहेगा. मतलब 1920 टॉप में रहेगा, नीचे 1919 रहेगा, 1918 उसके नीचे. सो आपका 1950 नीचे में आएगा, टॉप 5 में तो नहीं आएगा. मान लीजिए $1 का डिफरेंस है. सेल साइड क्या है, जो सबसे कम दाम में सेल करना चाहता है उसका ऑर्डर ऊपर रहेगा. सो ये दोनों कब मीट होएगा, एक ट्रेड बन जाएगा. सो मान लीजिए आपने 1915 में ऑर्डर डाला, अभी इफ देयर इज समबडी हु वांट्स टू सेल एट 1915, वो भी ऑर्डर डालेगा, मुझे 10 किलो सेल करना है 1915 में. सो क्या होएगा, आपके ऑर्डर से मैच होके यू विल गेट अ कंफर्मेशन इमीडिएटली ऑन योर सिस्टम. आपका मार्जिन भी ब्लॉक हो जाएगा. सो हम रंजित, आर वी गिविंग अ मोबाइल ऐप? सो शुरुआत में तो ब्राउजर बेस्ड सिस्टम सबको मिल जाएगा. आप किधर भी है, इंडिया में है, इंडिया के बाहर भी है, आपको एक्सचेंज की तरफ से एक सिस्टम मिल जाएगा आपको ऑर्डर प्लेस करने के लिए. मैचिंग का मतलब दोनों प्राइस सेट हो गया, बायर एंड सेलर का प्राइस सेट हो गया, वो सिस्टम के थ्रू मैच हो गया. If Shivanshu or Ranjit, if you guys want to enhance this with better language, please, you can. Yeah.
Okay. See, आपको मिस्टर नागेंद्र ने एक्सप्लेन किया कि ऑर्डर मैचिंग कैसा प्रोसेस होता है प्राइस पे। अगर बायर का प्राइस सेलर का प्राइस मैच हुआ तो आपका कंफर्मेशन हो गया कि आपने उस भाव पे बाय कर लिया। अभी आपके जितने भी है, जब भी आप बाय करते हो, आपका 100% मार्जिन हम ब्लॉक करके रखते हैं एज ए बायर। तो फिर क्या होगा, उसका प्रोसेस होगा। जैसे अशोक सर ने भी आपको एक्सप्लेन किया है कि हम वी आर प्लानिंग फॉर 30 मिनट डिलीवरी का। अगर उसमें वो जो प्रोसेस है अभी उस प्रोसेस में होगा तो 30 मिनट्स में प्रोसेस फ्लो जो पूरा होगा, बीडीआर एक्सटिंग्विश। बीडीआर एक्सटिंग्विश का मतलब आपका फिजिकल से बीडीआर हुआ, फिर बीडीआर से फिजिकल होगा। वो प्रोसेस फिर कस्टम के यहाँ एससीजेड के पोर्टल पे जो कस्टम ड्यूटी जो भी बेसिक पे करनी होगी जो उस दिन की वो प्रोसेस होके आपके डीटीए में माल मिल जाएगा प्रोसेस में। अगर जो सिस्टम है, जैसे मिस्टर नागेंद्र आल्सो एक्सप्लेन की, आइदर ईएक्सी फाइल होगा, हम जो एप्लीकेशन है जो ट्रेडिंग वर्क स्टेशन जो बोल सकते हैं उसको, या एप्लीकेशन आइदर मोबाइल, ये दोनों पे हम बात करें। अभी करंटली अपने पास वर्क स्टेशन है, ट्रेडिंग वर्क स्टेशन, जो ईएक्सी फाइल रहेगी आपके सिस्टम में डाउनलोड करनी है। नेट का सिंपल है, आपके नेट पे जो अवेलेबल होगी वहाँ डाउनलोड करो, लॉगिन आईडी पासवर्ड मिलेगा, उस लॉगिन आईडी पासवर्ड डाल के आप ऑर्डर प्लेस कर सकते हो। आगे हम मोबाइल पे भी काम चल रहा है। जब मोबाइल का ऐप आ जाएगा तो इतना सिंपल वो ऐप रहेगा, जैसे आप इक्विटी में आजकल यूज करते हो कि मैंने रिलायंस बाय किया या टीसीएस बाय किया, एज सिंपल एज दैट, उतना प्रोसेस हम सिंपल करेंगे ऐप में भी।
Okay, I think that very well explained to both of you. Thanks for that. There is a question on whether custom clearance will be done before or after the trade execution. Of course, it will be done only after the trade execution, because and on that front, I think there's some clarity expected regarding what is the duty going to be. Would you want to explain on that, Ashok ji or Shivanshu?
Yeah, I'll take this question, Sudesh. So at this point of time, whatever is a prevalent practice of duty, custom duty, which is available in India, the same customs duty will be available when you take the gold from exchange. So which means every 15 days there is a XAU USD price is set, and every 7 days there is a USD INR price which is set. I hope this is correct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a question related to there's any connections between the international exchange with the domestic? No, both are going to be working as a complete different entity. That's not going to be any platform that is connecting both. That's not the idea here. But of course, you have access to NSE, BSE, and MCX platforms for your hedging requirements. So, that would still remain, and you could do that. Now, Mr. Rajkumar or Mr. Sharad ji, if I could, of course, because it's on the logistics front, thought let me ask you, as a logistics provider, SQL as a logistics provider, where does your responsibility ends with IIBX? When you're going to take the gold from the domestic or from the IFSC vault after clearance from the customs, if at all, if in an example, when SQL is going to deliver it, is SQL liable to the customer who's imported, or SQL is liable to the IIBX? What is the whole thing here?
Mr. Sharad, do you want to take it, or do you want me to?
Please go ahead. You can answer that.
All right. Yeah. So, so as Mr. Ashok explained in terms of the the process itself. So when the metal comes in, it is brought into the vault, the IFSC vault currently, which is there in Gift City, and then it's converted then into BDR, and then the BDR is traded in the exchange. So the metal then, which is lying there, is there on behalf of the seller. Once the BDR is sold and then the BDR is extinguished, right? So then that is when the ownership, will then move into the buyer's ownership. There are two ways in which the metal can then be, received by the buyer. One is they can have their authorized person come into the vault and and have the person provide the credentials and take the metal from the vault itself, or there can be a door delivery which can be arranged, right? So that is a separate transportation or a logistics arrangement which the buyer can have with the vault manager, and then it can get delivered either within the city or in any other place that the buyer would choose to have it delivered. So this is broadly what the process is, Sudesh.
Okay. So a jeweler based in Bihar, let's say in some eastern side Bihar, he wants to import the gold is lying here at the gift city. They want to avail this facility. Who are they going to depend on when the duty is to be paid, the customs clearance? So you mean to say, let's assume that 1,000 jewelers have been onboarded as qualified jewelers. This 1,000 jewelers, do they have to depend on every CH agent who goes and says that the customs of and then file a bill of entry? Is that what, or is a logistics company is going to manage that, or is the member who's going to do that through whom they
Mr.
place the
Sharad, would
order?
you want to take that?
Yeah, let me explain. Sudesh, the custom duty is paid here is through SEZ online, and it is not through the ice gate. So we will have trained people who will handle the ice gate, rather the SEZ online system, and we will be able to manage this on behalf of our customers. Because it's a simpler process where we don't need to have a CHA license, etc. So the possibility is there. So we are also working on it, and we have requested the NSDL to train our people on this, and we can take this forward on this. So it will not be a difficult. Now the payment of duty is completely online. So customer or a buyer can always log into the system and make the payment online. So there is no physical cash or physical check to be issued.
Okay. So let me put a challenge here. The customer makes the payment. There's a typical technical glitch, doesn't reflect on the system of the customs or the SEZ online. And what is the recourse mechanism as a logistics company going to give to the customer saying that the duty is not been actually paid, so I'm not able to clear your metal? Because I'm not getting this question to IIBX because IIBX is no more involved here. So to you, Sharadji.
See, duties visibly, one can see whether duties payment is being made or not. So everything is online. So the way in which you are operating your banking account, the SEZ online also works like that. So there is no change that we can see online whether the duty is paid, duty payment is reflected. So and immediately the bill of entry is cleared and out of charge is issued.
Okay. Right. Now the next question, maybe Ashokji, if you can pitch in here, because the duty payment typically happens in dollars, right? Or is going to be in rupees?
No. Duty payment is in INR.
Is going to be in INR?
Yes. Currently also duty payment by the current stock is done on INR.
Repeat, Sudesh.
In INR. Huh? Right. Yeah, I'm just trying to get each part of it clarified. So that's one. Now let's the other question Sharadji I had was when Ashokji was mentioning about 1 kg or the lot size. Are there for sequel? Let's put in the perspective of sequel. Do you think there's going to be any kind of constraints or a increased cost built up if the volumes are just 1 kg to be delivered to some 1,000 clients in a day? Is there something SQL be in a position to do it, or any logistic company be in a position to do it, to cater to some 1,000 qualified jewelers who might come on board?
When the volumes are large, and all our regular clients, those who have signed contract with us, our pricing is based on a per kg basis, per gram basis rather. So we'll be able to deliver as much as quantity, whether it's a less or more, on on those lines. I don't think it will be a challenge, basically. Okay, so we'll be able to handle it. I don't think that's a challenge. So cost for a smaller volume is not going to be anything significant.
Okay. Now let's go back to IIBX and the exchange, my friends from the exchange. So let's now start looking at the supplier side, supplier end, that is the BDR creation. So what are the steps that what are the processes or checks that IIBX will have in place that will ensure that the purity of gold that is coming in here are of standard? And what are the kind of standards that you plan to accept? Is it going to be only LBMA? You will accept even the Dubai good delivery, which is going to be Emirates good delivery, or is it going to be anything, any gold? Mr. Ashok, want to take that?
Yeah, I'll take this question. Is my voice okay? Are you getting it correctly? Okay. So
Yeah.
just to tell you, we have already given on our website. In fact, in the chat mode, I have given the website address. It is https://. Then please type www.iibx.co.in. I have written there. I'll write it again. All the details are there. So there we have given the purity standards which we are talking about: 995 for 1 kg bars and 999 for 100 gram bars. A very good question has been asked by Sudesh. Is it going to be what standard? So as of now, what we are going to start with are the LBMA good delivery bars, which will be only available on the exchange. Now, the next question was whether at some point of time we will look at Emirates good delivery bar and all. Definitely we will look at, but I want to make one thing very clear, that in my view, though this is under discussion, that LBMA contract will be a separate contract from the Emirates good delivery contract when it happens. So today, all these things are on drawing board. There is no decision as yet. But one thing which is certain, we will be beginning with the LBMA good delivery bars.
Okay. So meantime, I had this. So is there? So you get these bars delivered to the domestic market, and for some reason they find the bars have some dimples, or the purity is not to the standard as mentioned. It's not 995, it turns to be 994, because even if it's LBMA, it's possible. It has happened in the recent past. What is the kind of recourse mechanism would you have in place? Because it's already outside moved out from the vault. It's already moved out from the exchange ecosystem. And can the client come back to you and say that, see, the bar that I got is not 995, and would you be accepting that grievance? Or you say like or do you have a clause in place saying that once it is out, we are not responsible? Is that what you're trying to have in place? Shivanshu, there, you want to explain on that? Or Ashokji?
Yeah,
Hello.
Suresh,
Yeah.
I'll make an attempt unless Shivanshu is there and he wants to say something.
Please go ahead.
Shivanshu, you're there? Or
Yeah, I'm there. Please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead.
You want to take this, or I'll say something?
Yeah, as you like. I mean, see, what I can share is
because
that,
why I asked Shivanshu is let me tell you why I asked Shivanshu. There is there's quite a lot of delivery. So and just to put that in context, that's the reason I brought Shivanshu here. So Shivanshu, you start off first, please.
See, as the system which exists on the domestic exchanges, it's pretty clear that one is that there is an exchange good delivery list of refiners. So, we started in India with the LBMA good delivery refiners, and that continues in the case of IIBX. Exchange good delivery means that the bars of those refiners who are on the current list of LBMA are accepted, and if they are on the former list, the bars which are manufactured before they move to the former list are considered acceptable globally. Each bar comes with a certificate of purity or assay certificate, which is the norm, which continues to be the norm. As regards the checks and balances in place, in due course of time, an exchange may decide to have a system of audits which are there in place on the local Indian refiners whom the exchanges have impaneled, including MCX and NSC as well, and BSC as well. So there are certain refiner standards or refiner good delivery norms which have been created around the BIS standard. So an exchange being responsible for good delivery can always create additional checks and balances through a system of technical audits, surprise audits, financial audits. As you know that this can be an ongoing procedure. This is not something which is a one-time thing. It can be ongoing. Now, as regards the recourse mechanism, and this includes, LBMA already includes responsible sourcing guidelines as well, as Sudhish, you're aware. Whether it is, LBMA or the RMI or the RJC or DMCC, they are compliant with the OECD norms. So automatically that gets inbuilt if an exchange says it's only LBMA refiners to begin with. Now, coming to recourse mechanisms obviously only exist till the point of time that the bar is within the exchange vault ecosystem. If a person has a certain a doubt, or if he wants to exercise a certain option of having a bar reassayed or assayed, then also there are certain systems in place which exchanges follow, that the exchange approved assayers would conduct this type of a thing, assay, and then the decision will be final and binding as decided by the exchange approved assayer. So these kind of recourses never really come into play historically as such. And if the system, it's not really about checking each and every bar, it's rather about having strong systems around it, strong standards around the listing of the refiners itself. That is the theme and manner in which even globally it is done. Of course, if you ask me minute things, then on the domestic side, when these things got implemented, even the access to the production schedule, the bars, which are the batches of bars which are
Shivanshu, my question is simple.
Produced.
Shivanshu,
Sorry,
Shivanshu, to interrupt. My question is quite simple. The bar is delivered to the manufacturer, jewelry manufacturer, and he sees that the purity is not 995, it is 994.7. How do you help the manufacturer in this case? Do you go back to when the manufacturer comes to you with that complaint that because it was delivered from, let's talk about the domestic initially. I'm sure that this would not have happened, but just in case a manufacturer has taken a delivery and the bars are not of that purity, what would you do?
So like I said, Sudhish, if you're talking now about the domestic side, because there are existing systems around it, yes. So if you read the norms which are followed by MCX and NSC, I am sure BSC also, which are talking about the domestic Indian refiners and their enrollment or empanelment, there it is clearly stated that in case of a first starting with the reassaying possibility, it is stated that the procedure is XYZ, and it is also stated that what are the penal provisions in place if this happens for a refiner first instant. Then it goes on to heavy penalties and disempanelment, including the reserved right to pass on this information to BIS and NABL as well. So if if an exchange takes a responsibility of good delivery, it also carries that much sufficient weight around the systems and procedures it builds in. So that is what is followed on the domestic front, non-LBMA, to specifically address your
Okay.
question.
Now let me go, yeah. Let me go to Ashok ji. Ashok ji, now in this case, you don't have any control on the refiners. You don't have any control on the. You just have a LBMA certified or Dubai Goodwill certified or the standard bars. Do you have any checks in place at your vault at IFSC? And tomorrow, if the customer a qualified jeweler is going to come and complain you, do you have any measures in place?
So obviously, the bullion which will be coming, this will be coming with all the requisite certificates, and from the refiners or from wherever it is coming, there will be a packing list, it will be secured, and only in those conditions it will be accepted. But I mean, what we are talking about is an extreme hypothetical case where when the delivery is happening at that point of time, when somebody has done the physical inspection while taking the delivery from the vault, you find you had started with that question that there are dimples there, or there is an issue with that particular bar. So I'll answer it in a little different way. In my one of the previous roles, this particular thing actually was a live case where a particular consignment, some of the set of bars actually had dimples on the bars, and when the buyer actually complained, so this whole piece was tracked, and even it went back up to the refinery when it was being packed, and it was found that yes, at the time of packing itself, there were dimples which were missed, and this was still shipped. And then this bar was these one or two bars, they were not many, but bars were taken back and re-exported, and they were replaced by the supplier. So the point I'm trying to make that there is a mechanism in place whereby the bars can be tracked. As I explained to you, as soon as the bars land, we have on a single vault basis, the blockchain system is already tested. It will all be recorded, whose bars are there. I mean, these bars are, who is the supplier of these bars, from where it has come, which packing list, what number, what is the bar number, all that is tracked. So we can always go back to the supplier that who has supplied that bar, and take the issue. Another thing is that at the depository level, this was mentioned by Shivanshu also, that we also would be having a assayer who would be uh, checking, and the assayer's verdict will be there. All these details are available, or we will further clarify if there are any doubts on this point.
Okay, so that's one point we need to work on possibly. Now, there is this question regarding the the trades again from the exchange, from the IFSC. So the question is, for each BDR that is going to be traded, is it going to be the same bars that's going to deliver against those BDR? So you may want to explain initially about how this BDR is actually being created. What is the role of the vault manager in the creation of the BDR? What is the role of the depository? And how it's not possible that a BDR, how it is not possible that where is it that fungibility can happen? Where is it that you don't look to have the fungibility? You want to explain something on that front?
So let us understand one thing. We spoke about a blockchain solution being worked on, whereby we will have exchange, clearing, depository, vault, as well as even the SEZ customs office on the same blockchain system, whereby we have sort of a one-to-one congruence at the back end, whereby each BDR, which is in electronic form, and at the front end it's all fungible. But each BDR has a tag that BDR identifies itself with a particular gold bar. Those numbers are tracked. So when the gold actually comes and the BDR is created, electronically on that, it gets imprinted what is the source of that bar, what is the bar number, and from where and all that. So it's always, it can always be identified. So in this context, this question is arising, the BDR which I am buying, will there be a particular gold bar associated with that BDR that will be delivered? That is the intent with which we work on, so that there is an integrity in the system. The fungibility which we are talking about is at the front end, but at the back end, there is a great care will be taken to ensure that each BDR is tracked with a particular bar. There's another question here which I have on the chat. I will take that question because it is also linked with that. The question is, how long can the jeweler hold the bullion with the depository after purchase on IIBX? What is the expiry period of the gold depository receipt? What will be the demat custody charges and so on? So let me tell you what we are giving it the nomenclature is the bullion depository receipt. So we are not talking about the gold depository receipt. This is BDR what we are talking about. That is point number one. And the point number two, let's talk about a scenario where you are a non-qualified jeweler buyer. Okay, you can hold the BDR to whatever time frame you want to hold. But if you're a qualified jeweler, you would essentially be coming on the exchange to import. And obviously, there will be expectation because you have used countries' foreign exchange to remit the US dollar to IIBX, and you will be expected to honor that import commitment by taking the jewelry, by taking the gold bar back into the country after paying the due customs duty. So as a qualified jeweler, you cannot hold the BDR to perpetuity in that sense, if that is a question that is being asked. There's another question which is there. So how much will be the liquidity in the exchange, assuming to order 10,000 ounce in a single price? So let me just tell you, liquidity on the exchange is always a chicken and egg story. As the more players come in, the more liquidity comes, and the liquidity waits for the players to come. So as we go on, we'll have liquidity, but we believe that there will be sufficient liquidity to take care of the physical demand. So this liquidity, I'm not too sure this 10,000 ounce, somebody wanted to know whether it is talking about the T+2 trade and where there is no need for a physical delivery. But if I answer in the context of the T0 physical delivery contract, which we are talking about, I mean, essentially for the qualified jewelers to come on T0 where they are bringing in their money or taking. So depending upon, what is their requirement, and obviously there'll be sufficient sellers. We are working with a lot of sellers. As we initially mentioned, and this was other co-panelists also mentioned that we are likely to have the foreign suppliers, even refineries are also talking to us. There'll be other big banks and non-bank sellers whom we believe will be coming in. And we hope there'll be sufficient liquidity on the exchange. But everything will be a work in progress, and we'll reach those numbers. Over to you, Suresh.
So going back to one of the questions that you answered earlier, a qualified jeweler places the order, but they fail to pay the customs duty. Okay, and we are again talking about a hypothetical scenario where they are not paying the customs duty, and it's not for re-export purpose. It's not for export. So what happens in that? What would be happening in that case? The metal goes back to the vault and lie with the vault manager there, or it's moved out from
Suresh,
already.
I got you.
The
So let me just sorry, I'm just quickly coming in. See, essentially what you are buying is a BDR, right? So once you have the BDR, you have bought the BDR. So BDR can be extinguished only in 4 ways. Let me make it clear to everyone. One of the ways is to, you can extinguish it by importing it to the DT area. That means domestic tariff area, by paying the customs duty. That is one way to extinguish the BDR. Otherwise, the BDR is there. Second way is, you are an international supplier and you have a BDR in your account and you want to re-export it. Then you can extinguish it. Third is, you want to move it to another free trade zone vault at that time. So for that export, you can extinguish it. That is the third way. And fourth, if there are entities in those SEZ areas which are allowed to manufacture jewelry, etc., for export, so you can extinguish this BDR to give the gold to them. There is no other way you can extinguish the BDR. So otherwise, to answer your question, if you are not wanting to, you have not yet paid duty and also BDR is in your account. So next question is, what happens if you decide not to do anything? I think that is again answer which we'll be able to give little later, because this is work in progress. There are discussions going on that as a qualified jeweler, if you have used countries' foreign exchange resource and you are just holding on to the BDR for whatever time frame, is there a time frame there? Whether you will be whether that it will be reconverted or converted into gold bar and the dollars will be repatriated from your account. All that right now, I do not have an answer. This is work in progress. We'll come to that. But if you are a non-qualified jeweler entity, which is in FISC area, you can hold the BDR for whatever time limit you want to hold. I hope I have answered.
So, yeah. So that takes me to the third and fourth solution that you have given and as part of the BDR extinguishment. If you could further explain here. So what Ms. Ashok was saying is, let's assume you bought the BDR and is at Gift City Vault. Ashokji, are you saying that without importing it to my location in to Bombay, for instance, is it possible that I can move the as a qualified jeweler, can I move the metal from Gift City to let's say indoor SEZ? So
not as a qualified
possible?
jeweler. Not as a qualified jeweler. As a qualified jeweler, you will have to import from that particular point. So I mean, right now we have a one vault scenario. Let's talk about a multi-center scenario. So if you want to take a delivery, say from Sri City, so at that time, if I have the gold quantity there and you have given your preference to take the delivery from Sri City, so it will be Sri City to DT area, not from Sri City to area here to another SEZ. Because see, essentially, as a qualified jeweler, you are coming to buy the gold. Okay, that is what has been permitted. See what DGFT has said. Qualified jeweler is allowed to import gold. That's why this permission has been given. This is a permission given to you to import gold, not for anything else.
Okay, I shall rephrase the question. I shall phrase it better. I'm saying a jeweler based in, let's say in Bombay, there's no vault in Rajasthan. In Jaipur, there's no vault. Whereas the metal is lying in Sri City, and I want to rather take the delivery in Gift City. Okay, so the reason for me it becomes a lot more convenient. I don't have to be involved in this complete logistics transaction. So is it possible? Does the exchange facilitate a SEZ to SEZ movement of gold?
No, it will be like this. I think we initially, when we were talking about, what is going to happen and what will be, our future plans, we did tell you and you asked that relevant question that there is an online stock which will be shown, right? And that's how you will be taking it. Okay. Okay. So on that basis, we will, otherwise we will say no, Sri City, there is no stock. We'll have to deliver at a particular other location. and you can then decide to take the delivery from there if you want.
Okay.
And obviously, you will
Fine.
be talking
hope that
to players like SQL and other logistic partners who will quote you a price for delivery to wherever you want.
Okay. And if you are a qualified jeweler with and also a member on the also a member, when I say also a member, you are a presence in IFSC. What do they get to trade like anybody else? Can they, for instance, they hold a BDR? Can they are seeing an opportunity in a market, let's say market in Hong Kong. Hong Kong market suddenly has gone premium. So can they immediately convert, extinguish the BDR and export their gold to Hong Kong? Is that something possible? Because they see a premium, because they're basically traders, the global market.
Yeah, again, I'll answer this question, Sudesh. So if the IFSC entity is a separate entity, obviously, okay, and that separate entity is trading, then they can do whatever they want to.
Separate entity, is it a branch entity, or is that a branch entity?
What I'm saying, separate entity means either it is a subsidiary which they have created, or they have created altogether a new entity in IFSC area, and that entity becomes a trading member. Then they can do what you are trying to. They can buy the gold here, because gold has not yet gone to the DTA area. Okay.
Right.
But if you are a qualified jeweler, then let us understand the intent of the DGFT circular. What it is saying. It is saying qualified jeweler is now allowed to import gold from IIBX. They are only talking about this.
And not trading.
They are
That's
saying
something
that qualified jeweler on
clear.
exchange, they will sell and all those things, or export. So it's very clear. In my mind, it is very clear, unless, some other clarification emerges.
Okay, thanks for that. There's this question from Mr. Davanam asking about the FTA with UAE, and how is IIBX planning to take advantage of that? Is it possible to be routing through IIBX?
I would like to say that we really do not have the full clarity on the contours of this FTA. We will wait for things to emerge, and then only we'll be able to give you a response.
Okay.
But I will try to also say that at some point of time, we will prepare ourselves to facilitate various trades for to meet the country's requirements.
Okay, but Mr. Thakkar, you had this, want to understand, is there going to be a good value addition that you're going to see through the exchange, or what is the kind of value addition? I hope much of those questions have been cleared on that front. Sorry, it's come from Atreya, not Mr. Thakkar. Mr. Atreya, hope it's covered it. If yes, please do reply on the chat, would help. At least it validates that the session has been good for you. Anything further one would want to add here? I think we actually covered a lot on the supply front, and as well as on the domestic side, and as well on the technology, how it's going to integrate the complete supply chain. If no further questions, I'll go back to Ashok and the other exchange other members from the exchange to explain what is the future plans, like how International Bullion Exchange is going to play a major role in the global market.
Thank you for asking this, Sudesh. We have big plans, and but of course, I would like to mention one point, that our bedrock would certainly be that we are a gateway for gold import in the country. That would be our bedrock on which we will build an edifice. On that front, let me also tell you that from very beginning, that is ab initio, we are trying to work with a blockchain solution, so that going forward at some point of time, not so far in future, but very soon, uh, we will be able to tap into global wealth management, global private banking players who have interest to invest in gold. We will be able to offer them digital gold backed by the physical gold. Okay, and through the blockchain, we'll ensure that whatever digital, receipts or they get it, they know that at the back there is a identified bullion which is there to support their investment. That is one thing. We will also work on various other plans for Indian qualified jewelers. We will also look to work on the gold metal loan piece. uh, I'm not talking about right now anything, because all these are work in progress. We do not know how this will pan out, but these are the plans. But in the ecosystem at IFSC, we will have lot many things, because we, on the basis of the BDR, we will create, we intend to create a repo market around it. So we are going to create lot many things on the around bullion ecosystem, various financial products. So there would be a repo, there could be a bullion leasing business, which we will look at. We will also look at for wealth banking and private banking, global clients and global investors, accumulation, monthly accumulation plan or periodic accumulation plan or savings plan. All that will happen. The intent is, you must understand that as a vaulting place or vaulting facility, India would probably be offering the lowest cost vaulting facility around the globe. What we intend to do as the volumes pick up, that 600 to 800 tons is our gold consumption every year. Out of that, gold import and gold consumption would be, because there is a domestic players also. Uh, uh, what we believe, that we will be in a position to influence or set the global prices. That would be our aim going forward. At some point of time, probably we will have IIBX benchmarks, which will be used at least in India, or then we will see what all is to be done. We want to position our exchange as a preferred exchange for our neighboring countries to buy gold from, because of the uh, kind of support which we intend to get from all of you, which will be get lot of interest, lot of liquidity coming on the exchange. So it will not only be the physical spot exchange, we will also going forward look to add uh, uh, gold futures, which will be obviously in US dollar. Then we will also look to have going forward other derivative products on gold. But how many of these will be of use to the qualified jewelers in India? We'll have to see how market opens up and what all things get permitted. But there are a number of plans, many of the plans which are there, I am not talking about. But suffice to say, if you look at our name, this is India International Bullion Exchange, IFSC Limited. So India is our country name, our brand, and international is our aspiration. And that is what we intend to do. With support of all of you, we will certainly achieve.
Anything to add here, Nagendra, Shivanshu, Ranjit? Because I possibly missed a couple of questions, I would go back to that in that case. There's a question related to digital gold, just as you mentioned. So first question is whether a digital gold service provider can also be a qualified jeweler. Second is, can a digital gold service provider in India, because not in the regulated space, can they look at holding gold in the form of BDR?
Sudesh, to be very fair, I do not have answers to these questions at this point of time. As we go on, answers to these questions will emerge. But certainly in the international space, we are very clear when we launch the digital gold piece, these will be backed by BDRs. Because ultimately the goal will be that we in our vaults, we hold sufficient gold in IFSC areas, and those golds, the bars which are there, we will be in a position to, when foreign banks come in, we'll be able to in a position to do loco swap with London and all. There'll be also transactions with the unallocated gold accounts. And also our goal is certainly, which we should work with support of everyone, that our BDRs are also traded internationally on other exchanges. So these will be the goals going forward. But for the qualified jeweler to offer DG Gold, I am not in a position to answer it. I don't have an answer as of now.
Okay. So in the beginning of presentation, you explained about the cost part of it. What are the kind of costs that goes premium? This is otherwise called as premium related to physical premium or the consignment premium and various. Now, what in case the gold is brought in by a supplier, kept here, there are some custody charges that they need to pay the vaulting charges. How are these going to be inbuilt into the pricing when it is going to be quoted on the exchange? Nagendra,
so
would you have any? Would you like to throw?
On the exchange, the price which is quoted is the price which you pay finally in dollar terms.
So, as a jeweler, I don't need to have
No,
really bother about
but obviously there will be some charges of IFSC charges. We'll have to see all those schedules and all, and our own charges which we have not yet put on the website. There'll be some minor
so
small
all those
charges
gets incorporated into the price. All those
so
things
no
will
no
be
point no
incorporated into
the point is, a price quoted is a price you will pay, which will go to the seller. The seller, what he is quoting the price on his offer, will be taking into account all his costs.
Exactly. Yeah. All these costs. Right.
Yeah.
So if there aren't any further questions, and just in case I slipped, if you want to ask any questions, can you raise your hands, please? So if your questions weren't answered. Oh, there are some new questions that's come up in the Q&A.
Sir, a few have already raised their hands. If it's okay, I can unmute
Yeah,
one of
we
them.
can. Yeah. In the order, if you could unmute them, that would be helpful.
Okay. Mr. Chandresh, you can ask your question now. I'll move on to the next person, sir.
Okay. And we would like to also have Mr. Atreya Ramanujan Sriram as well, because I think we need to. If you are able to convince Mr. Atreya, then I think the work is done. Atreya, please raise your hand there. We'll let you in. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Can I ask?
Yeah, please. Introduce yourself, please.
I'm Atreya, sir. I've been in bullion business earlier with IIBX. In fact, I handled large volumes in the first decade. We had done about 10% of the Indian business from Tamil Nadu. Bullion dealer, basically. I'm still in that.
What's the name of the company, sir?
Now I'm in Dubai providing risk management services. It is Marifa Al Dahab, which is knowledge of gold risk management services. I want to move to GIFT City. That is why I've been exploring for a long time. What is the value addition I can give to my clients sitting in, because I have different models for investors, for risk management on gold metal loan. Okay, that's a different part. Now, as to the physical model, which we invest, take gold and supply, I'm just trying to explore what is the opportunity I have in GIFT City, because I'm an NRI. I can move anywhere, anytime there. But I'm not able to find value addition, what I can give to my clients. Sitting here, I can do more. What I can do in GIFT City is the $1 million question I want to know. In fact, I intend to go even travel to Gift City in the second week of this month. In fact, I was about to request whether Mr. Ashok Gautam can give me an appointment, because I've got few ideas which I can discuss with him. Maybe I'm using this platform to take his appointment too in the second week. If he can, I'll make his time worthwhile. I've spent 2 decades in the bullion.
Yeah, maybe you can get to the question directly, like
Yes.
any specific questions, please.
What value addition I can give to my clients if I move my business to Gift City using IIBX platform? See, now I have a lot of online platforms where I can give facilities to my client as to pricing, hedging, anything they want. Now, how soon IIBX will gain traction, and how soon I can move my business to IIBX, because I have large ideas to do large volumes. I have
Okay.
investors.
We get your question, Mr. Athare. Yeah. Ashokji, you might want to explain about how the unallocated can possibly operate from IFSC, how the various risk management solutions can be offered from the IFSC zone, how they could be. Over to you, Mr. Ashok.
Yeah, Suresh, we'll answer this question in parts. First is he is most welcome to meet me. I will certainly, on the question, I'll leave my email ID also, and we will fix an appointment as per his convenience. And I'll also try whenever he can give me some slots. We will fix up a meeting. Definitely, we like to spend some time. And actually, we seek people like you to understand more about the trade, because we are not saying that we know everything about the bullion business. We need to learn from our various stakeholders. We need to learn from knowledgeable people, and we need to learn from the industry veterans. So most welcome, and I'll be very happy to interact with you and learn from you. And of course, I'm sure we will be able to incorporate some of the suggestions which you are giving. Maybe they are not there right now because of there are various regulatory constraints, and which we are all grappling with. As you know, this is an entirely new thing which has been created, and for this new thing to be created, also a lot of legislative changes have been brought in, and a lot of and these things have not been easy, and we all are working step by step. Probably the ideas which you have are quite worthwhile, or will be quite worthwhile, but they might have to wait for some time as we go step by step. Because we have a mandate to go step by step, see that whatever we start, it actually works, and it is also beneficial to the people for which is intended to. So this is one. Second is, of course, within Gift City and IFSC area, you are most welcome to actually set up a shop. There are huge benefits which are being provided by the Gift City for people who are making some kind of capital investments here. There are number of what should I say, reimbursements for various expenses, for various capital expenditure, various IT related expenditure. Those things are there. They are available on the website of Gift City. Kindly make use of that. You will be benefited. Many people have already come in, because we are suddenly seeing a lot of vibrance in the FISC area because of various incentives which government has announced on the tax side, on capital expenditure side, and IT investment side. So you can certainly make use of it. You talked about your own risk management practices and all. I'm sure, as you know, we have said that for trading member on our IIBX, entities will have to set up shops here. They will have to have an office here. So when they have office here, obviously they will need expertise of people like you for their own risk management practices. So I'm sure you will find a lot of clients as we go and as we develop the business. Yeah, and anything have I missed?
What is the timeline, sir? When is the exact launch you are planning?
Sir, I at this moment, I am at the liberty to say it is going to be very soon.
Very bureaucratic, sir.
Not bureaucratic, sir. If you are in my position, that is the best answer.
I don't understand. See, one thing is, we are all in a hurry now. Rather, I frankly admit that we would prefer to stay in India and do business than be on some other foreign territory. When we get the same offshore facility, in fact, we have been waiting for a very long time, and the waiting seems to be endless now. In fact, probably
not
a lot
endless,
of
just to tell you, you have your first MD and CEO talking to you and making a statement. There is a reason why he's making it. Yeah. So when you have waited for so many decades, you can wait for
the first thing when you took charge. In fact, I ensured that I got connected with you on LinkedIn. In fact, thanks for getting connected with me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Looking forward to meet you.
We are very eager, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Atre.
For the last 15 years, we are also carrying the same dream of IIBX, because we have been we are never able to enter the price segment. But we get what we are delivered in pricing. In fact, a lot of things needs to be done, but many of the previous entities, be it NCDX or MCX, have failed in this. Even NSCL is not in the picture now.
Mr. Atre, we'll get to
sorry. Yeah.
I think we're just running short of time. So
got it.
I hope it has built in some kind of confidence in you. We'll move to the next question now. Next question, or we are good to wrap up?
If anybody has a question, please raise your hand.
Okay, I think so. It's all sorted. Great. I think may I wrap up, Mr. Sharadji? You want to add a closing remarks here, please?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sudesh, for taking time out and moderating this. And of course, to our panelists, Mr. Ashok, Shwanshu, Mr. Ranjit, as well as Nagendra, who had to leave, midway. So thank you so much, all of you gentlemen, for taking time out and sharing this. I think it's been extremely insightful, a lot of learnings, and I think one thing that we all can learn is this is a new journey that I think as an industry we are embarking, as Mr. Ashok had alluded earlier as well. So I think it's important that we continue to have these discussions. But the most important thing is, I think, as a beginning has been made, which is truly historical in nature. And given the kind of response, Mr. Ashok, that we received from the jewelers and the entire community is what prompted us to have this discussion. We really, truly feel that they would have got enlightened by this enriching conversation, and we hope to continue to collaborate. And as a central logistics nodal player, it's important that we sort of connect everybody together to make sure that this initiative taken by the government of India and IFSC and IIBX succeeds in its in its endeavor. So thank you so much for everyone who participated. And last but not the least, thank you so much, Mr. Sharad, Kamna and Leena, for organizing this and putting the whole show together. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
Sir, one last thing.
Thank you.
One last
Thank
thing.
you.
Can everybody please switch on your video so that we can take a screenshot? Sharad sir, please.
And as I posted in the LinkedIn, I kept my word of taking even the last question from everyone. So
correct. And also this recording has been done. So so you can contact, and we will share this recording as well to people who who want to have a look at it again.
right.
So Leena, is there any email address that people will have to can drop in requesting for the recording?
Yes, sir. ftwz.giftcity. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, please put it in the chat and kindly request for the recording, and we will have that shared. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
everybody.
Thank
Thanks, Sharad.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Ashok, thanks,
Bye-bye.
Sudesh.
Thank you. Thank you.
you, everyone. Bye.